Hello, and welcome back to Women for Wealth. So today is, I don't know how many days of the stock market post the tariff announcement. Um, but please do not look at your investments. It will make you sad. It might make you fearful, and we do not want to be fearful because when you're afraid, a lot of times you make bad choices financially. So just don't look. Here's a little bit of good news for you. So, who's buying the dip? So JP Morgan spent $4.7 billion on Friday. So JP Morgan looks at this dip and says, hey, it's a buying opportunity. It's a great chance to make a lot of money. And I think JP Morgan knows what they're doing. So if JP Morgan is going to buy $4.7 billion on Friday, then that to me is a good indication. One of the things too that I want to talk about is you do not want to be dependent on Social Security. They've talked about it a lot. Is it even going to be around? Is it going to be solvent for the next generation? I don't know, but I can tell you, I live in South Carolina, and in South Carolina, the state doesn't make enough money to cover the people who have retired and are lower income and fixed income, and they're living paycheck to paycheck, month by month. The federal government sent $107.8 billion to South Carolina last year just in Social Security checks. Now, $107.8 billion, that's a lot of money. That tells me there's a lot of people that's dependent on Social Security checks. And you don't want to be that. I don't want to be that. We don't want to be that. We want to live our wealthiest life. We want to live a life of health and wealth. We don't want to be dependent on Social Security. So maybe you're going to be like JP Morgan and you're going to be able to buy the dip. I'm going to tell you, personally, I am doing nothing. Personally, I'm not looking at anything. I'm just ignoring it. That money is not losing any value as long as it's sitting there. You don't lose money on stocks until you cash them out. So I'm leaving all of my investments exactly where they're at. I'm not even going to look at them until July 4th. That's just my personal take on this. I know that this market's going to rebound. I know the economy's going to be fine. It always has. You just have to be patient. I don't need any of that money that I've invested, so I'm just going to leave it there, ignore it, let it come back up, and then it'll be there for me to cash out when it's on, a positive and I can make money. Please do not be fearful and cash out all of your retirement savings. Do not do that. If you cash everything out, when you sell is when you lose money. If it sits there, you didn't lose a dime. I didn't lose a dime today because I hadn't sold anything. So look at it that way. But one of the things we need to do is we need to look at multiple income streams. Can you create a wealthy life on a regular salary? Of course you can. Of course you can. It's easier to create your wealthy life if you have multiple income streams. So let's talk about that a little bit today. So how can you generate cash? So let's talk about the easy, quick ways. Freelance consulting. So freelancing or consulting is very quick within days if you have a skill such as writing, designing, engineering like I do. It's very quick. You already have the skill. You just have to sell it. It's fast. You can sell it on Upwork, Fiverr, or even LinkedIn. You can put in your LinkedIn profile that, hey, I have this skill. Let me know if you need help. I'm here to help. And then you can pitch yourself to someone that needs your skill set. As a bonus, you can charge premium rates if it's a niche or you have a lot of experience. Another thing you can do is digital services, social media, SEO, website design. My wonderful husband does website design. He did all of my websites, his websites, our kids' websites, and he does freelance and he does digital services occasionally on the side. And he has a couple of clients that he does just whenever they need, if they need a web design update, then they'll contact him and he'll do it and then they'll send him a check. He's not making a lot of money because he's not consistently trying to sell this as a service, but it's nice that extra money on the side. He had some piece of expensive software that he wanted to try. He updated a website for one of his clients. They sent him a check. He used the check to buy his software. So it didn't come out of our family budget. So that was really cool. That's something else you can look at if you have the skills to do the digital services. If you know how to do social media, SEO, web design, it probably is going to take you a week or two to land a client. It works because tons of businesses need online help and are willing to pay, especially businesses. If you have a business and you don't have a web page, I'm telling you, I don't care if you've got a LinkedIn profile, I don't care if you've got LinkedIn referrals. If you don't have a website, I am not going to hire you. I'm just not. You're not a legitimate business. You're not presenting yourself as a real business if all you have is a page on Facebook. Just my personal opinion. So, people who know how to build a presence, grow engagement, manage ads, you can go out and you can solicit business from other small businesses. And you can say, hey, I know how to do SEO. Let me help you out. Let me get more views on your page. Whatever skill or talent you have, you could probably sell it and sell it pretty quick. In a couple of weeks, you should probably have some work. Another thing is flipping products or services. So it can be very fast, same day to a few days. Examples of this are buy and resell on eBay, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, flip domain names or digital assets. It worked because of arbitrage. Find something undervalued and sell it at market rate. So I have a friend loves to do furniture flips, buys really cheap furniture off of Facebook Marketplace or picks them up off the side of the road sometimes, sands them down, cleans them, paints them, fixes them up, new knobs, new handles, whatever. And then she's able to sell something full price that she paid pennies on the dollar for. So, that's what she does. And then she resells on Facebook Marketplace. She makes good side money doing this. She has a pocketbook and shoe interest. So she uses all of her furniture flipping money to buy shoes and purses. So that way it doesn't come out of the family budget. Another thing you can do, affiliate marketing with existing content. So if you already have a platform, if you've got a blog, if you've got a YouTube account, if you've got an email list, you already got a platform in place. You just plug in affiliate links and promote it to your audience. So a pro tip is go after high paying affiliate programs in finance, tech, and software. Now, affiliate marketing, I personally haven't done it, but I do know people that do it and it can be great, great streams of income. So, if you've already got a really robust network and you think you can promote and sell things to your network using affiliate links, that's something maybe you should try. Another thing you can do, rent out assets, real or digital. So examples of this are, Airbnb. Airbnb is great because you can rent out your whole house, just a bedroom. My oldest son one time rented a couch for a night. There's lots of different options there. So if you have extra space, you can rent that out. A car. Turo is a company that will let you rent your car to other people, and then you make money off of the car rental. Now, I personally haven't done this, but this is something I've thought about because I do have a Mazda Miata. Now, it's a 2007, so it's older, but it is a cute little roadster, two-seater convertible, and I don't drive it that often. I'll just be honest with you. I hardly ever drive. I work from home. I don't get out that often. Most of the time, if I do leave the house, my husband and I go together and we hit several places at once. And so in that case, he drives. So maybe I want to see if I can rent my car out on Turo and make some extra money instead of it just sitting here. Because I actually have to make an effort to drive it occasionally to make sure it stays charged. So that's something else you can look at. So those were quick and simple and easier ways to have multiple revenue streams. Let's talk about some of the best passive income streams. So this is ranked on reliability, scalability, realistic potential for long-term returns. Again, this is a longer term thing. This is not going to be immediate. The first 5 or 6 things that I told you, they were pretty immediate. You could have extra money in 1 to 2 weeks. These are more long term. These are more you do it now and you see the benefit in several years. So, the best passive income streams. The first one, dividend stocks. So, what is it? It's owning shares of company that pay regular dividends. Why does it work? You earn a cut of profits just for owning the stock. A benefit of it is true passive income, historically strong returns with compounding. A downside is it requires capital to start. So maybe if you don't have extra money, maybe you do one of the first 5 things that we talked about, where you can get a quick influx of cash, and that cash will give you the capital to purchase dividend stocks. Another risk is, of course, the market risk. With what's going on today with the economy and the tariffs, unfortunately, dividends aren't paying what they used to pay because the companies just aren't making the profits that they used to make. So that's something to be aware of. Again, do not be fearful. The American economy has always bounced back. We will be strong. We will be fine. Just be patient. Real estate rentals. So, we talked about Airbnb earlier, but let's say you don't want to do an Airbnb, and let's say you don't have the capital to buy a property, fix it up, and rent it out. So, you can do something called REIT. So, a REIT is a real estate investment trust. So, you own properties that are rented out. I think of it as a group share. You go in with several people and buy a property and you rent it out, and then the profits are split between all the people that own the property. It's great steady cash flow, and the property always appreciates. I've never known a time when properties do not appreciate. So you're always going to make appreciation off the property. Plus, the rental brings in steady cash flow. Some of the pros: tax advantages, as well as inflation. It's an inflation hedge, so you're hedging against inflation. A con, of course, property equals work. But if you're doing an REIT, you're outsourcing the management, so you don't have to worry about that. Another con is it is capital intensive, which is the benefit of a REIT, because with a REIT, multiple people go in together to buy a property. So you don't have to have as much capital. You can have less capital because there are more people. Number 3, digital products. Now I'm talking courses, books, printables. You create it once, you sell it forever. Think online courses, guides, templates, ebooks, those type of things. It's high margin and it's globally scalable. Once you put something online, anybody from any country can pull it down. All of the pay websites now have the ability to do the conversion, so you don't have to worry about that. The pro for you is it's low overhead and is fully automated once it's set up. The con is it's pretty time intensive up front. I mean, you have to create a course or write a book or create a printable, and you need to market it to succeed. You can't just put an ebook on Amazon and expect it to succeed and people to buy it. You need to do marketing to succeed. So, number 4, affiliate marketing. And we kind of touched on that earlier. If you're earning commissions by promoting other people's services or products, and you're doing that using your blog, your YouTube, your social media, your network, it earns you money while you sleep if your content ranks, which is great. The pro of it is no product creation. You don't have to create it. You're just selling someone else's product and you're getting a percentage of that sale. And it scales with your audience. As your audience grows, as your network grows, you're going to be able to sell more items, products, services, and you'll be able to make more affiliate money from that. The con, you got to have traffic, you got to have a network, you got to have a social media presence. Another con is that earnings can fluctuate. It is not consistent at all. It's going to be hard for you to budget this every month. A matter of fact, if you have fluctuating earnings, if you have a commission-based sales position, you probably have a good rough idea how much you're going to make every month, but it's going to fluctuate. It's going to change. So, you're going to need to do like a 3-month rolling average with your budget. And number 5, the last thing that I have on my list that you can do to earn extra money: license your intellectual property. Intellectual property is anything you know or you created or you've done. So how do you license it? You can license your photos, music, designs, software, or even patents. So my husband, he's a singer-songwriter. He puts songs up on, and I'll be honest, I don't know the website, but there's various database websites of music that he puts his music up on, and he could license that music so he could hopefully be able to sell his music to someone who has a recording contract. They can cover his song and then he can get money from their profits on the song that he wrote, that they recorded and they released. That would be excellent, because I'm telling you, my husband is so creative and he is an excellent singer songwriter, and I'm so impressed and proud of him. There was a period of time where he had his own song being played in Germany on rotation, and the DJ called him up and actually interviewed him over the phone about the song. And so that was pretty cool. Creative people can earn money from old work. It doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be new. It could be a song that my husband wrote when he was 20, and he could still hopefully make money off of it today by licensing it to a record company or a band. There's potential for long-term royalties, and royalties for your creative property is an amazing thing. It lasts forever. I had a guy that said he was getting royalties off of a TV show where he was like not even a front person or a secondary character. He was like a third character, but he was getting royalties on that TV show 30 years later. Now it was like $42 a month, but he still was getting income from something he had done 30 years prior in his life. So, the potential for long-term royalties is there. Plus, it's low overhead. This is something, if you're a creative person and you're doing music and you're doing photos, you're probably doing that regardless of if you sell it or not. So if you just put a little bit of effort into selling or licensing it, this could be a really good thing for you. The con of this, it's really hard to break into. It requires unique or high demand property. You can't just, if your name's not known in certain circles, it's going to be harder for you to sell your creative property. It's going to be harder for you to sell your photos, your music, your art, whatever you create. It's going to be harder to sell it if you don't have the reputation and the name recognition in that industry already. So just be aware of that. So these are a couple of ideas that I shared with you about how to create income streams. We kind of went through the fastest and the easiest first, and then we got into what I consider the better, more successful long-term strategies. But the main thing I want to say today is, don't be afraid. Put a plan in place. Work the plan. You will get where you want to go as long as you work your plan. Do not let fear dictate your decisions, because that's when you're going to make bad decisions, and that's when you're going to end up living paycheck to paycheck, fixed income on Social Security. And I do not want that for anybody. So comment, like, subscribe. Let me know below. Was this helpful? Did it give you hope? Did it give you some ideas on how to generate extra income? Are you going to try any of these things? Let me know if you do and how it goes. And until next time, I wish you health and wealth.